So here we are following Brian on his Benelli 502 TRK. We're just going up the road a piece so I can have a little ride on it. You need to wind the throttle off and click it. So here we are, YouTubers, riding on the Benelli 502 TRK. Clutch action is very light. Gearbox is very smooth in action, and the throttle's really nice. Handles really well, turns in, it should do on 17-inch wheels. The max torque exhaust is making a nice sound. Changes down the gearbox and the throttles. There's no snatchiness in the throttle. We're into a 30-mile-an-hour zone now, and it's tootles along, 4th gear, 26 miles an hour. Very smooth operation on this bike, and it feels quality. The engine gets a little buzzy and you can feel a little vibe through the bars, but it's nothing that you would call obtrusive. It pulls away. It's in 4th gear. There's quite a nice spread of torque. All the controls fall easily to hand. The ride is firm but nice. The damping works really well. Brian's got his sat-nav connected here onto the bars already on his Benelli, and it's in a good position to read. The windscreen is doing a good job of taking the wind off me. A very pleasant sound to the exhaust. Seating position's comfortable. The angle on my legs is not too extreme. I'm sat in quite an upright position. Now Brian's got riser extensions on so he can angle the bars back, which gives it a nice seating position. What else can you say, really? It's a nice looking, nice and rideable adventure type bike. Okay, so here we are looking at the BMW 502 TRK. As you can see, it's a well-made little bike, and it's got some nice features on it. These engine bars are standard. The handguards are standard, I believe. The spotlights Brian's fitted to it. As you can see, it's a nice looking thing. It's quite multistrada-esque from the front. It has LED indicators, but normal halogen bulbs in the headlights, but Brian's replaced them with LEDs. Has the luggage rack to fit the Jivvy style panniers on it, and 20-litre tank, as I've said. And now from there to the back of the bike looks kind of GS. It's got a nice seating position. You've got this sort of backrest for your base of your spine now, which is really nice. As I say, Brian's put risers on it so he can bring the lights back, the handlebars back towards him. The mirrors have got a nice carbon fibre pattern on them, which is a nice little touch. And what else can I say about the bike? It's got Benelli branded 4-pot radial calipers on 320mm discs, so there's plenty of stopping power on this bike, and the brakes are really nice and progressive. Clutch action and gearbox is really super smooth. It's got alloy wheels on it. I'm not quite sure what the tyres have got. I can't really see what the tyres are. As I say, chain drive, a nice looking thing. So if you've seen the preview of this road test, I've put quite a few details on that. But this bike is a water-cooled parallel twin, 47 horsepower, which is adequate. Although the bike's a bit weighty, it runs really well at motorway speeds, and yes, I could recommend it. Well, for the money, I think Brian paid about £5,000 for this. It was a used example, but didn't have, I think it was an ex-demonstrator, didn't have many miles on it. So he got it for a very reasonable price, including a set of panniers. I think it was about £5,000 altogether. So it's pulling up this is a local hill. Called Parballs. It's quite a steep climb. And there's plenty of reserve power in this bike. We've obviously got to stick to 30 miles an hour going up the hill, but if you open it up, it's got plenty of pull. Really, really nice. Instruments are very clear to read. They've got an analog rev counter and a digital speedo with the temperature, a clock and everything round it. So it's really very good. It can pull up this hill really well. Yes, it's very agile, very flickable round the corners. It's a nice, pleasant place to sit, and I could see you touring on this. Why not? You've got adequate power to keep you up on the motorways at the legal speeds. It's a 47 horsepower parallel twin. It hasn't got a 270 degree crank, which seems to be the norm nowadays. So it's quite a smooth bike, but it does get a bit buzzy and you can feel it through the bars. But other than that, it's a very nice little motorcycle. Now the thing I like about this bike, one of the features I like on it, is it's got backlit switches. Now why don't most manufacturers do that? They can do that on a 5,000, or I think they're about 6,000 something now, these Benelli 502s. Why can't the major manufacturers put backlit switches on all bikes? Because I think with the amount of buttons you're getting on bikes these days around the handlebars, it would be nice to be able to see them at night. I know Triumph have them on some models, and Ducati certainly have them on the Multistrada. So I just think it's a good idea. Brian's fitted Oxford heated grips to his Benelli, and they're working really well. It has adjustable levers on it, so you can get the hand position you like, and it's really nice, flickable round the corners. Gear change is very, very smooth. Really nice bike. I've always been impressed with these Benellis for the money. It has highway bars on it, or we don't like to call them crash bars, but Brian's mounted some spotlights on his to give him a bit of extra road presence. But yes, it's a really good little motorbike, and I would recommend, if you're looking for an adventure type bike, that you would consider a Benelli. Designed in Italy, built in China, which seems to be the norm nowadays. You're getting KTMs built in China, so you know, it's not, I mean, at one point people wouldn't like to buy a Chinese built bike, but they're just really well built, these Benellis, and I think you could have thousands of miles of fun on these bikes. Out of the corner really well. Lovely gearbox on it, very smooth, very smooth. Seat's very comfortable. If you look at this bike, as we will do on the walk round, the front of it looks a bit Ducati Multistrada, and from the back of the tank to the rack it looks a bit like a GS, BMW GS. But the gear change, exceptional, really smooth, clutch operation very light, brakes are nice and progressive, you don't have to pull them hard, lots of braking power on this bike. It has radial mounted calipers on the front, so yeah, a good little motorcycle. Got a bit of character now with the exhaust Brian's fitted to it, so yeah, well worth a look at, well worth a look. There's not a lot else I can say about it. It's got really meaty upside down forks. I think they're about 48mm. I don't know who they're made by, but non-adjustable at the front, and you're adjustable for preload at the back. So it is a basic bike, but the suspension is very good, very well set up. know Brian's taken a bit of the preload off the back to give him a softer ride, and the bike rides really well. I'll have a look what tyres it's got on it, but really enjoying riding this bike. As I say, my legs are at a nice angle. So if you want to know anything about the Benelli 502 TRK, drop a question in the comments below this video and we're more than happy to get back to you. Brian, like I say, is really pleased with this. This is his second Benelli. This is a Euro 5 version. The first one he had, I think, was Euro 4. So, but as I say, really nice acceleration on it. So there we are, Benelli 502 TRK, great little bike. You could have a lot of fun on this, go touring on it with the panniers. Excellent miles to the gallon. It's got a 20-litre fuel tank on it, and I would imagine that's going to give you well over a 200-mile range. And the bike is well finished, it really is well finished. Everything falls easily to hand. You've got headlight flasher on, horn, indicators. These switches Brian's wired his spotlights to. They come already on the bike. The wiring looms already on the bike. So yeah, great little bike, very pleased. I'd own one of these. You've also got chain drive on it, which I'm not so keen about, but most bikes are. There's very few bikes with shaft drive these days, which is sad really. But modern chains, modern lube, it's not a hassle really. So yeah, revs up to 9,000 RPM. I would imagine it's producing most of its power between 7 and 8,000 RPM. But yeah, such a nice little motorcycle. Very, very nice. So, from the onboard the Benelli, this is David Swordplay saying thanks for watching. If you have any questions about this little TRK, please leave them in the comments below and we'll get back to you. And we'll see you on the next one.